Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan. Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Let's go.
What's the word, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. We are excited, we are pumped, we are juiced. Dare I say, the NFL Draft is in the books. The Detroit Lions, 7 new players, 5 defense, 2 offense. Tell me how you like that. We'll talk today to see, did Brad Holmes cook? Do you like the picks? And we'll even break down some of the picks. But before we get to all that good news and all that good jazz, as well as Kool-Aid, your team plays today. Kool-Aid, your team plays today.
Yes,
we'll get
sir.
into the Detroit Pistons and what the weekend was. But before we do that, let's just start off with an easy chill. What's going on there, Shep?
You know, I'm so excited to be here as always because I can't wait to learn about Derek Moore a little bit more and learn about some of the other players that the Lions drafted through your eyes. So I'm pumped about that. We've got the movie line Monday, which I always enjoy. We've got Braylon's Ballers and Bums, which I always enjoy. I could be the bum. I didn't pick myself, but I really should be the bum. You see, Friday after the show, I was so excited. I wanted to play golf with Braylon, so I invited him Sunday to a 10:33 tee time in South Line with 2 of my sons and me. So it was going to be the foursome, and I was super excited.
Juiced up, man. I was ready.
Sent the text to my kids, and my one son says, "Dad, I invited Ryan 2 days ago."
Yeah.
And I said, "When the hell are you going to tell me this?" "Well, I'm sorry, but what am I going to do now?" I said, "You're going to tell him he's not playing." And he's like, "Dad." So I get home. I tell my wife the whole thing. My wife was pissed at my son. "How can you do that?" She goes, "Matt, you can't. Once you invite Braylon, you've got to stay true to it." I said, "I don't know what to do." And she said, "You know what? Just call the golf course and tell him you're going to play with 5.
She don't know that part.
I said, You don't understand. That's not how it works.
It's not out.
So, unfortunately, I had to call Braylon and apologize. I feel terrible about it.
Nah, don't feel bad, man. At the end of the day, you know, kids they lack the communication.
Yes, they do.
And then also too, man, it's not that big a deal, man. It allowed me a chance to get more rest. Like I still was tired, still trying to catch up on sleeves, jet lag, trying to figure out what time zone am I in, what city am I in, hell, what state am I even in? So,
but it might have been the only chance I had to beat you. See, if you were sleep deprived, you weren't feeling 100%. You got to understand the competition level. He's going to win at everything we do. So I thought, if he's a little jet lagged, maybe just a little hazy, I might be able to beat him by a stroke or two. Not the case.
I went to the driving range actually on Sunday. Like once I woke up, got there about 1:30, shot with Pops and my brother Bailey. Shout out to those two
that's
guys.
better company.
No, I'm not gonna say that. It just was. It was nice and chill. It was easy. Driver was all over the place, man. But the irons, I found something with my irons. I found something in making sure that left arm is very stiff, making sure that I keep it firm, keep it out there, man. And it's been doing me some justice. So I'm excited. You allowed me to practice a little bit more. And catch up on some sleep.
I saw a video of. Everybody knows who Justin Rose is. Right?
Yes, we do. 100%. Shout out to the red and white.
He's going to new clubs.
He's 5th right now in the FedEx Cup, I do believe.
Okay. He's going to new clubs. McLaren Golf Clubs.
Whoa.
I saw a video.
Same McLaren from the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Engineering?
Look badass.
I can only imagine.
He's got the orange bag, and I'm like, wow. Very cool. So we'll talk about that at a later date, but pretty interesting stuff.
The McLaren story itself is interesting. I know we got to talk drafts. So I promise today you will not see me veer left or veer right. We're going to stay with the draft and stay with the Pistons.
I like that car reference. That was
but
good.
Ford versus Ferrari, I learned a lot about McLaren. I learned a lot about what it is, the brand, how they branched off, how they We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, so the draft is complete.
Yeah.
We all feel great. Brad Holmes looked like he did a pretty solid job, at least to me.
Yeah.
I want your thoughts. Let's take it pick by pick if we can. Derek Moore is a guy you called for.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid did a great job on Friday of putting together some really cool graphics.
Hell of a job by Kool-Aid.
And he went by every position. And he just gave us 4 guys from which to choose. And the first was edge rusher. And you went Derek Moore right away. Mm-hmm. I went Gabe Akis from Illinois.
I think he went about 10 picks later.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 6 to 10 picks later, which is fine.
Which would have been where the Lions might have been normally.
If they hadn't traded up.
Yeah.
Good point.
Man, you guys are spot on.
Yeah. So, well, I'm not. He is. He's the one who picked Derek Moore.
On, literally.
So, some say it was I hate the word reach.
Yeah.
Okay. All it is everybody thinks of where this guy was supposed to be drafted, the consensus, and then where he ends up being drafted. In other words, Jahmyr Gibbs was a reach.
Yes.
He was supposed to go somewhere like 33 to 35, and he ended up going 12. Do you think that reach, quote unquote, was worth it now? You're damn right you do. So what do you like most? Why did you think Derek Moore was a perfect fit for the Lions and their scheme?
The first thing is, as it relates to a reach, people say, oh, this is a reach, that's a reach, oh, this guy was a reach. It's not about a reach because you use the same terminology as it relates to Brad Holmes when he picks players. What do you say? You say, let Brad cook. Like you say, let Brad cook, let Brad do the things. We trust in Brad, and Brad we trust. So when he's doing these things, keep that same energy. That's what I would tell you. And the reason why I wasn't a reach, because this guy is a player. The first thing I like about him is he's had 3 defensive coordinators, okay? You ready for this? 1, Wink Martindale knows his way around the NFL, knows his way around how to teach, how to guide NFL players, because he's been doing it for 20-plus years. 2nd, Jesse Minter. How's he doing in the NFL? And the third, McDonald. How's he doing in the NFL? So he's had 3 NFL-level defensive coordinators that understand how to teach the game at an NFL level, although he's talking to college kids. So he comes in understanding what he's going to be receiving information-wise when he gets here. 2, when you look at his play over the past 4 years for Michigan, when you look at the big games, when you look at the big moments, you're going to see number 8. And no play is bigger than the play that he had against Alabama on the 4th down, stopping Jalen Milroe. He was a part of that play. You see some of the good plays against Oklahoma last year. He's a part of those plays. Alabama, when they played him again last year. Ohio State. You can point out to the big games, the big moments. You will see physical. You will see aggressive. You will see under control. And you will see a guy that's wreaking havoc and making plays. That's what he was in those games. And that's where you judge him. Also, I think he can help out. He sets the edge. And you'll notice the theme today when we're talking about some of these defensive players, when Brad Holmes was asked questions yesterday, setting the edge is something that came up for all his defensive players, whether they were DBs, whether they were safeties, linebackers, and edge. But getting back to what Derek Moore is, sets the edge. He's physical, understands how to play on the line, off the line, and he is a hustle. He will get to the ball. He will get to the play. He jumps out on film like you legitimately see number 8. You don't have to say much. Hey, just turn the film on. Watch Michigan last year. And, let me what you see on defense. Right before you know it, Derek Moore jumps off the film, comes out there, he makes plays. I love all those things about him, and they moved up. I love this about Brad Holmes. They moved up to get him because they saw that the edge rushers were coming off the board. He saw that they were, oh, shoot, they're getting edge rushers. It's getting a little light. Maybe we don't wait till pick 50. Maybe we have to go up 6 picks, and that's what they do. They go up 6 picks. They ensure that they get an edge rusher.
He's convicted.
100%. 1 that was on their board, 2 that they believe in, and 3 that other people wanted as well. So when you look at that and you package it all together, you finally have yourself an edge rusher that can play opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, they know each other. I don't know if that matters. They know each other, but then go back to who's been coaching him. He has been coached by Wink Martindale, he has been coached by Mike McDonald, and he has been coached by Jesse Minter. All 3 of those individuals know their way around the defensive coordinating spot in the NFL.
I've been told he's a high football IQ guy.
100%.
Okay, so there's a lot of different things that I think fans look for to check their boxes. Brad Holmes has a certain number of boxes that he wants checked.
Yeah.
I think members of the media feel the same way, but fans do as well. You want them to play in a big-time conference. Yeah. What's the best football conference in America?
Big Ten.
Right. You want them to be a winner. He's helped win a national championship, carried the trophy into to a ceremony at one point. All right? Yeah. So that's check number 2.
And arguably is a part of the play that got them there.
Exactly. Number 3, you want them to be a leader. He's a leader.
Yeah.
Number 4, you would like them to have a lot of snaps and games under their belt. While he was at Michigan, he played in every single game.
Yep.
Okay? So that is really important.
What's the other big thing they say? Brad likes to draft what type of players? Injured players?
Injured players. That's the belief. He's not.
Bang.
Right?
Whoa.
And then the last thing, especially with the edge,
yeah.
I get caught up, and we all do, in sacks. He led Michigan in sacks with 10. Here's what we forget. He's mentioned it 3 times. Sets the edge. In other words, he doesn't come off the field. He plays against the run, and he plays against the pass. I'm not going to try and convince you he's Micah Parsons Jr. I'm just telling you, a lot of the things that you want in a player, he hits. Because you know what we saw all weekend. Why did you jump to get him? What is it you like about him? There's a lot of teams that jump to get a specific player. They like certain players and the characteristics. What did we say? Consistency and character is what a lot of the things that the Lions build upon. That young man right there has been consistent, and he's got great character.
Yeah, he definitely has great character, man. You know, once you get past the character part, that's that leadership that you talk about. It's the leadership on defense, but then you go into the 10 sacks. That means he can get to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. That means he's equipped to get to the quarterback. He loves getting to the quarterback, but he also loves to set that edge. And you have a guy that can do both. Versatility is one of those things that Brad Holmes and this administration absolutely love. And I don't necessarily like all the guys that they get that are versatile. This guy, I love the versatility because you want him to be able to set that edge in the run game. And if you don't believe me, go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers game last year. How'd that work out for you? How'd the Pittsburgh Steelers work out last year when you're giving up over 200 yards on the ground to a team that wasn't necessarily that good at running the ball? This is a player that helps you combat that. This is a draft defensively and a mindset that helps you combat that. So I'm very excited where the intention was in this draft, getting back to the overall perspective. The intention was on the defense. Mm-hmm. Like it was one of those things with Brad Holmes. He doesn't necessarily go the way we want him to go or go the way we believe he should go. This year we knew it had to be about defense. It had to be an intentional draft, and he intentionally drafted 5 defensive guys that all fit the mold.
I want you to think about this for just a moment. Detroit got and a lot of this has to do with some of the free agency period too. And I know we wanted the big sexy names. We wanted to trade for Max Crosby. We wanted Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. We wanted certain players. This team got younger, they got deeper, and I would argue, we'll see if this comes to fruition, but my argument would be they became much more competitive. They drafted, of the 7 draft picks, they drafted 5 on the defense, as you mentioned. They also drafted 3 defensive linemen out of the 5 defensive picks. Derek Moore, Skylar Gilhoward, and Tyree West. Those are the guys they chose along that productive defensive line, all right? So what they've done in one draft and one free agency, think about the depth, okay? Everybody likes to look at the flip charts. You and I do when we go to a game. Look at the depth along the offensive line and how it's now starting to build along the defensive line. You and I were involved in a group text. You're much better at holding and reserving your feelings on that than I am. But after the Lions made the pick of Blake Miller, the first response from those who wanted an edge was, our edge rusher is DJ Wanham. And you and I are like, you realize there's 7 rounds, and they have 8 more picks to go. Now, they ended up trading away a couple, so they ended up getting 7 total picks. But the point is, Brad Holmes saw some value in some other. Now, whether it comes to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. But I like the pick of Derek Moore. So they didn't have a 3rd-round pick. Then they went with his teammate, Jimmy Rolder, the linebacker, in the 4th round. What do you like about this kid? Because he seems to be a pretty good ball hawk.
So just going back for a second in the conversation you made about the competition. Competition is very, very, very important. Go back, listen to Brad Holmes talk. You will hear competition come up multiple times, and the reason why that's so important, when they became a much better version of themselves in 2022, 2023, the competition level was high. Like, you didn't know if you were going to make this team. This went from a team where, I could start on this bum-ass team. It went from that to, no, I don't know if I can play. I don't know if I'm going to make the roster. I don't know if I'm going to be the nickel or the 4 or maybe not even make the
Some
squad.
good players are going to get
100%. And when you do that, that means everything is heightened. When you're doing OTAs, it's heightened. When you're working out in the offseason, it's heightened. When you're doing minicamp, guys are taking it serious. Guys are being physical. Guys are being aggressive. Guys are being intentional, if you will. But talking about Jimmy Roeder, it was a surprise for me. I'll start there. It was a surprise. You know the position I said I wanted third, ladies and gentlemen. What did I say? I said I wanted tackle, edge, backer. They got the backer. It was Jimmy Roeder. I had to go back and watch some film. What I knew about him was an instinctional player. Extinctional player, uses his instincts and usually makes great decisions. But you go back and you watch it. Shep, he does not miss tackles. He is a sure-handed tackler. One of the things the Lions struggled with last year is finishing tackles, missed tackles, something that we hadn't seen out of them in a while. That was a part of that grit. That was a part of that villain, if you will. They were missing tackles left and right last year.
Shout out that Steelers game.
100%. Bring that game back up. How about the Giants game, if you don't believe me? Tap into that game a little bit. So now you got a guy, a linebacker. What? Now you have a linebacker that's not only fast, he's instinctional, sure tackler. Just like short-handed wide receivers, a short tackler. He does not miss tackles. And he shows up. He shows up in the back end. He shows up in the front end. He can get into the backfield. He had tackles for loss. He does a lot. I'm not saying he's Fred Warner. I'm not saying any of that. But when I'm looking at his film, I am impressed with the instincts. I am impressed with the ability physically, the gifts he has, and I'm impressed at how he plays the game. So when you look back, shout out to Stone Cold, appreciate you. A little Steve Weiser action on that. But when you look at that, you need a linebacker. This is the next innovation for me. They got a linebacker in Jimmy Roeder. Excited to see what this can be for them.
Do you believe in the RAS score, relative athletic score? Do you believe in that? And if so, how much and why?
I believe in the RAS score a little bit. I think it has to add to what you are. I think the RAS score has to add to the film. There's never been a player, dare I say, I don't want to say never, but there rarely are players that just test well and have bad film. Because the RAS score doesn't always mean anything. You want to see a RAS score with no production? Go check out the quarterback that was drafted to the Indianapolis Colts 4 years ago. He had a hell of a RAS score, but he didn't have any film to match that RAS score, and that's why he's now looking for a job. Talking about Anthony, I don't even remember his name anymore. But I say this to say I believe in it, but you got to have some film to go with it, Shep.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because when you look at his RAS score, it's really impressive. It's a 9.53 out of a possible 10.
Yeah,
and an NFL podcaster put this out. That ranked over the weekend 165 out of 3,480 linebackers taken from 1987 through this year.
You start to get 9
That's
threes,
pretty impressive.
That's first round grade.
Yeah.
And once you get to 9-3, you're looking at a potential first round grade. That's very impressive.
Yeah. So people don't view him as a really big player.
Right.
They don't view him as a thumper per se. All right. And I think because he's a 1-year starter, he's 6'2", 240.
Yeah.
Is he an every down linebacker? He's not. He's going to look really small next to Jack Campbell, but a lot of guys do. But he's fast.
Yeah.
He's a sure tackler. He reads coverages well, from everything I've been told. And he's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be a rotational guy. He's going to have to prove himself. There's going to be a good battle for that that linebacker opposite of Jack Campbell. He'll be in the mix.
Yeah, I know Kelvin Shepard is licking his chops as a former linebacker coach, loving what this competition is going to be. But the way the league has gone the way of the smaller linebacker anyway, Shep. Like, you look at Jack Campbell, that's why, and I will always go back to this, and it's fine if you guys have jokes because I was wrong, you were right. But when we drafted Jack Campbell, one of my biggest issues with Jack Campbell, when I'm looking at, he's 6'5", 250. 255. That's not the way the linebacker. That's old school linebackers. Linebackers got to be able to move lateral. Linebackers have to be able to cover wide receivers, running back side of the backfield, get to the quarterback, get to the flats. That's one of the issues we had at that position. You're talking about 6'2", 240. He's a thumper more than people think. He will knock you out. I saw the Oklahoma game, laid their safety out. Saw the Ohio State game, laid their running back out. Bo Jackson, I think that was his name. So he can hit. but he's also fast side to side. But he's fast in processing information too. Yeah. So now you're mixing speed with processing information. Like, I'm not saying, once again, that he's going to be Fred Warner, but what I'm telling you is it is a very good match for what they want to do, and the Lions don't have a linebacker that possesses this yet. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he's able to do in minicamp, spring ball, OTAs. Not spring ball.
73 tackles, pretty good a year ago for Michigan. So Rolder goes in the 4th round, and then in the 5th round, they make it one of the better steals in the entire draft. Am I wrong there? Seriously, that's what everybody was saying.
Yes, sir.
When you get a guy, Keith Abney, the second, he's out of Arizona State, you get a guy in the 5th round that most people projected to go in the 3rd round. If you go to Scouts Inc., I know this is geeky, but I'm sure a lot of you out there are with me on that. Scouts Inc. had him overall as the 75th player in the draft. He's the 75th best player in the draft. That's telling you something right there. Yeah. You're looking at 257 guys who were drafted. There's even more players who are out there. And you get a guy like this in the 150s, 157 specifically, twice as high as he was rated originally by Scouts Inc. He might be, not Kendrick Law just yet, but Keith Abney is the steal of the draft for the Lions.
So you have a question, and I'll save it for when you ask it. I'm trying to stay on par, but I am excited about this pick. This is everything that you said. This is a pick. He should have been drafted earlier in this draft. I like his ball skill. He is a guy that doesn't get a lot of penalties. In the Big 12 now, they throw a lot of passes. Yeah. They pass the ball. This is the conference for passing. A little less running. They're passing the ball. They're getting it down the field. You may see upwards of 90 plays a game. You're going to see about 70 of those being pass plays. The fact that he only allowed what he allowed, when you look at his stats, it's staggering. It lets you know that he plays the game the right way. He plays with technique. He plays, once again, instinctual. And this is why I'm very satisfied with this draft out of Brad Holmes. He's a football player, plays instinctual, has elite speed, has really good hands, and he can get his hands up on you. When you see the plays, he's always in position. A lot of times with DBs, you'll see him, even when DBs make great plays, when you draft them, especially looking at college footage, a lot of times they make great plays because they're just great athletes. They'll be out of position, but they can make a great play because they're a great athlete. He's in position. He's in phase with these wide receivers. He has his back, turns at the right time so he doesn't get pass interferences, i.e. another DB that we have on our team. So when you look at that lack of flags, lack of penalties, this is a guy that can be a damn good player for this team. And at nickel position is what they're looking to play him at. At the nickel position, you got to be able to do a lot. I think people look at a nickel back and they look at, he's the 3rd receiver on the team.
Right.
You couldn't be further from the truth. You got to be able to set the edge as a running back in the slot. Got to be able to set the edge, got to be able to tackle, and also got to be able to switch off tight ends, wide receivers. So he can do a lot. I am in love with this pick.
More excited for this 5th round pick this year than the 2nd round pick 2 years ago.
Facts.
Okay? And this dude, first of all, he's built.
Yeah.
So he's built stronger than
100%.
And
the guy you drafted in the 1st round that year.
Probably. And he's fast.
Yeah.
Even though he's only 5'10", 187, which I know a lot of people don't like small guys, this dude can cover, and he's super athletic. Let me give you the power stat that Kool-Aid loves to hear. And this is from No Flags Film. Versus quick slants last year, 12 targets, which was most in FBS, but only 3 receptions on those 12 targets for 36 yards and no touchdowns. He had 1 pick and 5 pass breakups. So those are impressive numbers.
Go back to that. How many targets were there? 12?
12 on slant routes.
Let me tell you why that's
quick slants.
Let me tell you why that's important. The quick slant is exactly that, the quick slant. You don't even have to be the greatest wide receiver, and you can get open on a quick slant. It's all about technique. It's how you set the DB up. And DBs, a lot of times, you guess, especially in college, well, he's probably going to do this, or maybe to be able to get 12 targets on you and only 3 catches and 5 pass breakups on that slant, it lets me know he's not just going for the first move. He's just not, he gave me a little something to say, he got me on the inside. He is watching, he is studying, he's watching the waistline of a player. He's watching exactly what you're going to do. So I'm looking at that waistline. The waistline will tell me what the play is going to be. So to be able to react instinctually like that, that's a really good stat line for a DB in the slot at that time.
Brad Holmes said it was a no-brainer for them. He thought he was going to go a couple rounds higher. Said he might be leaning to playing him toward nickel in the NFL, but he thinks he can also play on the outside. So there's a little bit of there. Enos Rakestraw just got put on notice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a battle probably between him and McCreary to start, but Terrion Arnold should turn his head a little bit too, knowing that this kid's on the team.
Yeah,
he's that good. He is. He's that good.
He believes in himself too. Like, it's not, when you watch him, it's not even extra excitement, it's not even extra dancing, it's not even extra moves and this, that, and the third, extra celebration after he does his job, does his thing. Like, what he does, he moves right on. I'm not saying he's Sauce Gardner. Not in the least bit. But what I'm saying is, when you watch Sauce at Cincinnati, Sauce understood who he was. There was not a lot of fan. There was not a lot of dancing. I'm just shutting guys down and getting off the field. Shutting guys down to get the third down. That's what you see at Abney when you watch him on tape.
6th round, they go D tackle. Skylar Gill Howard. I'm not going to try to fool anybody and say I know a lot about this guy. Did have an ankle injury. Red flag. Everybody, hurry. Okay. And a little undersized for the position at 6'1", 280. But they love his toughness. They love his aggressiveness, and they love his ability to go quick and swallow up linemen inside. So that's the kind of scouting report on him.
Yeah, I don't have to do a long, what do you call it, a long dissertation on who he is, but I will tell you this. Last year, Texas A&M had the best defensive line that money can buy. It's called the $10 million defensive line. When you watch film on these guys, when you're looking for other guys, maybe it's Bailey you're looking for, maybe it's another guy on the other side, he jumps off the tape because of how fast his hands are, how quick he is, and how compact and explosive that he is. Like, he plays like a Elvis Dumervil, if you will. Explosive, quick, and also the athleticism. When he first got to his JUCO, I want to say he was 242 pounds. Then once he got to Northern Illinois, he put on more weight, put on 42 pounds, and bumped up to 280, and that's what he was for Texas A&M. But when you watch him, he's quick, he's fast, he's explosive, and he has an athleticism. Shep, there's more often than not 4 times in this season for him where he's going to the house. He had a fumble recovery that he stole from a defender, took to the crib. He had 2 interceptions that he took to the crib, and he can move. So, once again, it's a competition piece. It's a guy for the back end. And Mekhi Wingo, where you at? It's one of those situations. Let's get these guys and see who wants to play. The hell where you were drafted. Who wants to play for the Detroit Lions this year where we go for the Super Bowl? So it's a fun pick. It's a cool pick.
Yeah, and then Tyree West, how much do you expect out of a 7th rounder? Not a lot, just like you didn't expect a lot out of Dan Jackson last year. But it's 6'3", 290 pounds, a guy who gets after the quarterback a little bit, maybe overshadowed a little bit at Tennessee, but he comes from the SEC. He comes from a good program, and there's good stuff. I want to know let's play a little game here, okay? I'm going to ask you for a few questions.
You skipped the player. I think it was on purpose.
I did skip a player on purpose.
Say less.
So the wide receiver, which is fine, I get it. Kendrick Law out of Kentucky. A little surprised. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we'll get to this coming up. There's a certain player that I had pinpointed and I desperately wanted. I didn't know a lot about Kendrick Law until you look him up and you notice, you know what, this dude can block.
My guy.
And
you saw that.
And he takes those little bubble screens, those little jailbreak screens, and he weaves his way. And he's a speed threat, right?
Yeah. When you look at this, the Detroit Lions don't have a wide receiver like this. When in NFL these days, like, cats have 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. Some teams dress 7 wide receivers. I know that sounds crazy, but you got to have guys that can do different things. When you look at the Lions, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, clutch, will make every play, understands the offense, understands the concepts. He runs good routes, not necessarily going to beat you down the field, not necessarily a jump ball receiver, but we know where his wheelhouse is, and his wheelhouse gets him to 1,410 every season. Jamison Williams, he's not doing the inside stuff. Jamison's not running inside curls. He's not going to be the route runner that kills you, cuts you. He's not going to be the guy from 0 to 20. Jamison Williams is running go routes, deep post routes, deep over routes, comebacks on the outside, and then you'll see him in reverse routes. Isaac Tesla, what is he? Isaac Tesla is your big rangy guy. He's got the long arms. He'll jump over you. He's your Calvin Johnson monster guy, if you will. Get him in the red zone. This is the guy we should have been throwing more balls to in the red zone last season. That's what he does. He's the big guy. You can get him over the middle, catch the ball, he can take the hit. You don't have that guy rest in peace like Rondale Moore. And I know I brought his name up a lot because I really enjoy wide receivers that can do that. You talk about he can take the jailhouse screen, take it to the crib. You can give him the ball, run on a slant route. He's physical when you watch his plays. He'll break 2 tackles and take it to the crib. Brad Holmes said, I fell in love with this guy when I was watching warm-ups 3 years ago in Alabama. And fast forward.
Isn't that crazy?
It's super crazy.
To remember a guy from that long ago,
the retention,
kudos to him. Yeah,
100%. We're going to get – we don't give Brad credit when he doesn't deserve credit.
You're right.
We're damn sure going to give him some credit today because he deserves it. To now go back, have that retention, and see him at Kentucky and see what he's done. He's gotten better. He's faster. He's elite. He does things like Henry Ruggs / Rondale Moore in terms of what he did on the field, not off the field. And he also went to jail and paid for it. Unfortunately, what happened. But when you look at him, super fast, super physical, in a compact frame like Rondale Moore. Some of the moves that you see him do at Purdue, against Ohio State, or Rondale Moore even when he was with the Cardinals. So now you got a guy that can take the top off, but he can make the play short underneath and take it to the house. You can get a ball in the hand. Jared Goff, what was one of the big things last year? It was that protection was breaking down. We don't expect that to be the thing this year, but you got a guy now you get in his hands and you can make something happen. So I like this pick. Although we'll see what you had to say.
Yeah, I love this graphic back here. So good work by Kool-Aid and Cam on that. Here's the other thing that I like, and I know we weren't enamored with the free agency acquisitions that Brad Holmes and the Lions made. But think of this now. What you've done is you've built up basically every position.
Yeah.
DJ Wanham, Derek Moore. So a free agent and a draft pick. Roger McCreary, Keith Abney.
Yeah.
A free agent and a draft pick. Damone Clark and Jimmy Rolder. Free agent, draft pick. Greg Dortch and Kendrick Law. Free agent, draft pick, wide receiver. Okay, we wanted depth, and we wanted guys who were going to compete. This is what you got. Center, Cade Mays, Juice Scruggs. Okay, but defensive line, rotational standpoint, Skylar Gill-Howard.
Yeah.
In there with Tyleek Williams and with Aleem McNeil and some other guys who are gonna try to find different ways, different combos to bring pressure. So I like what they've done.
100% different ways to bring pressure. Also, it's that energy. You're bringing in young, new energy, guys that want to be here, guys that are trying to figure it out, guys that are trying to make this team, guys from conferences and teams that you believe in. Like, is it McCrary or is it Abney? Is it, Gil Howard or is it Mekhi Wingo? Is it Tyree West or is it the next guy? Those guys will be able to figure it out. These guys, 5 through 7, cool. We got them here. They're cool. I can give you a whole spiel about what they are. They may not make the team.
Right.
But if they don't make the team, then that means the guys that were brought in through Brad and free agency that we may have complained about, me over here, that we've complained about, that means they pushed them to a point to become players. They pushed them to a point where it was like, we were hoping we got this Roger McCreary. We were hoping we got this Damone Clark. So when you look at it this way, it's starting to come together. And that's why we were one of the few shows, whether on this network or whether around this state, we started going the glass half full. We started playing a role, but you know what? We won't know what we won't know until we get to minicamp.
We were giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. We started giving the benefit of the doubt. What do these moves look? What does the Bourne and the Scruggs and the Clark and the McCreary and the Dortch, what do those moves look like when you add the draft?
Yeah.
What do those moves look like? Even Brad Holmes, once again, at the podium, he talked this weekend. This is also still a part of the offseason, which means now we can talk to teams and say, hey, what about this guy over here? What are you doing with him? Now you can talk to guys that are trying to hold out to see what the draft look like and now where they may go. The offseason is still not over.
I know.
Still have a very long time to get to September to get to that first game. So the Lions, when you start to put together, is starting to look like a better product.
Not every player acquired by a team has to be a superstar. You've played with some of the best out there, right? The Chancellors and the Revises. But I'm sure there's plenty of guys on your teams who you may not have known much about, and then suddenly during the season you're like, hey, he may not be the biggest name. He may not be on somebody's fantasy team. That dude's a pretty important player for us.
First name that pops to my mind is Lee Biden. Yeah. First name jumps in my mind. I remember I got to Cleveland. Lee Biden was Nickelback, and then he became. Yeah. The Lions know where I'm going because he ended up playing for Detroit. But got to Cleveland. he was a guy, forced himself into the starting lineup, and once I started going against him in practice, once I started seeing him against Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Chad Ochocinco, you know what I'm like? It doesn't matter that he went to Duquesne. It doesn't matter that I don't know the school. I used to call it the Quince.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't matter that I didn't know school because he's a player. And then he was so much of a player, and the Patriots saw what he did on Chad Ochocinco. He goes to the Patriots. I don't think he won a Super Bowl, but he was there. He challenged, went to the FC Championship, et cetera. He was a damn good player in his time with the Patriots, and then he ended up coming to Detroit. He's one of those players where, like, I didn't know. I'm like, that dude came to Quince. Who's this guy trying to guard me? Oh, shoot, he's jamming me in my chest.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
That's a really good story.
It's the truth,
so
too.
true. Just because you don't play at the highest level, you're not going to win anything, but there's a lot of guys out there who can still play. They just don't always get that recognition because they're not playing at the highest level of those schools. When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit about your favorite pick and the pick you would have had on some of these players if they hadn't chosen that player. Okay. So we'll get to that when we come back. We've got Braylon's Ballers and Bums coming up as well. The breakdown of Derek Moore as we go to the tape. And, of course, we've got to talk Pistons as they get ready for Game 4 tonight in Orlando. It is going to be massive. It is going to be vital. And we're going to talk about that in the 3 o'clock hour here on the Braylon Edwards Show after this from Ben Johnson and Arden Jakes.
Ooh, we're cooking it up. So excited. But let's take a break and talk about the fighter. He is the fighter. You need to get him on his team so he can fight for you. Whether it's a settlement or a verdict, it does not matter. They want all the smoke at Ben Johnson Law. It's because they're trial attorneys. That's what they're built for. They equip for the big fight. So let him represent you. Sometimes the corporations, sometimes the government, they will withhold compensation for you. Don't let them do that. When that happens, make Ben Johnson the first call you make. In fact, venfights.com. That's how you're reaching. You go there, you give them your information, you get yourself on ball, you get the fighter on, and you'll get the decision and the verdict that you deserve.
You know what next week is? Cinco de Mayo, right around the corner. That's right. Tacos, cold drinks, Tigers baseball, all in one. I like tacos. Absolutely. I love cold drinks. Arden Jakes in Northville loves it all and knows you do too. So they want you to come out, hang out with the heavyweights. They're going to broadcast live from Arden Jakes in Northville on May 5th, 5 o'clock. It's a special Cinco de Mayo pregame show. It leads right up to the first pitch between the Tigers and the Red Sox. A team in turmoil? You bet. I know Boston's won 2 in a row, but they just fired Alex Cora. You've got players on that team saying this is one big blank show. They're saying it to people. Tigers can take advantage, and you can take advantage of Cinco de Mayo there in Northville at Arden Jakes and the heavyweights. Be there.
It's game on at Arden Jakes. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Arden Jakes, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. Venfights.com.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. See, when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. It's the gym for you, man. It's clean, squeaky clean. It's trainers on staff, and then also there's no judgment. Home and judgment-free zone. So come on down. We implore you to come on down. You can continue your journey, you can start your journey, or you can take your journey to the next level. But you gotta do it at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
It is essential, too, when you are coming off a weekend or you're...
Woodward Sports.
Oh, my bad.
Is taking over Loom Canvas. It's okay, Shep. No big deal, man. You were just excited, man. You excited to get back some of this draft talk.
That draft energy.
Woodward Sports taking over Loom Canvas for a massive new Buffalo grand opening event. Guess what? This Saturday and Sunday, May 2nd and 3rd, we're talking 30% off the entire store, 200 free goodie bags for the first 200 customers, and chances to win a PS5, an Xbox S, or a big screen TV 3 times daily. This is what they do. Why don't you scan that QR code above my head, get yourself involved in the game, or come out to New Buffalo and check out the new Loom and check out the heavyweights as well as your boy. Be easy. You can catch them there. They will be there on the 3rd.
Well done. And a job well done by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. And everything that they do, it is smooth, it is crisp, it is refreshing. It would be a perfect time to watch the Pistons tonight beat the Magic. I know I said this on Friday, I was wrong. Beat the Magic and do this in a cold glass of Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Be careful, it tastes really good. And it's not sweet, it's not bitter, and it's not heavy. It's just 100 calories, but it tastes great as long as you please drink responsibly.
And we back. One thing
go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, we'll talk Pistons coming up.
Yeah. I was going to say, one thing I forgot to mention as it relates to the Loom New Buffalo event, if you will. Catch the heavyweights, where they will announce a $5,000 weekend getaway for two to Tulum, Mexico, sponsored by S'morehouse on Sunday at 5 p.m. live on Woodward Sports at the Grand. Now, you have to be at the Grand opening to enter yourself a chance to win that. So, New Buffalo this Saturday and Sunday, $5,000 trip for two to Tulum, Mexico. And from what I hear from Brittany, it is amazing.
I don't think the heavyweights are thrilled with the Lions' first round pick. Blake, welcome back to the Braylon Edwards Show, Monday through Friday, 2 until 4 here on Woodward Sports Network. What was the grade? This is
Monroe Freely.
This is that's not who they wanted. This is the thing that everybody loves to do after the draft, and I get it. You know, just because everybody does it doesn't mean it's a bad idea, right? The grades, grading of the draft. How did you grade their draft, the Lions draft?
I gave the Lions a B. Like, when the number, I'll give you the number, so it's just, I gave him a B. I feel like when you just give a letter, it's like, whatever. I gave him an 83. So not 86, not 87, not 88, close to A, not 85, where it's a solid middle. I gave him an 83. I believe this is a very solid draft for the Detroit Lions. I believe it's a very intentional draft for the Detroit Lions. I think Brad and the squad, I think they went after the players, the positions that they should have. I think they got some of the players they definitely should have. And I think they got a couple players where we're trying to figure out what is it going to look like. Where we're waiting to see what a Jimmy Rolder looks like. Where we're waiting to see if a Kendrick Law is as good as advertised in his highlights from Kentucky and Alabama. Waiting to see if Derek Moore is going to be the player that I believe he is. So, with that said, they went after the needs. They got your edge, got your linebacker, got you some defensive depth, created some competition, and then in the first round, they went and got a guy that is a professional, a guy that's going to come in here, be ready to play, and start at right tackle right away. So looking at what that is, I think that is as solid as you can get. It was very intentional, and kudos to Brad Holmes for not playing any games, not trying to get cute, not trying to get creative. He went after what he needed, he went after what he wanted, and he mixed the two together. So I think it's a solid draft, 83.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect grade for them. I've said the same thing. There are certain players I wanted that they took instead of. They've forgotten more football than I'll ever know, and I'll bow to their expertise. But
talk about some of those players, if you will, Shep. Like, give me a player around, and give me somebody else that you would have taken there.
Yeah, I like Blake Miller. I have no problem with it. You kind of sold me on him more than anybody. I wanted Monroe Freeling, and Monroe Freeling,
Proctor.
Yeah, and Monroe Freeling went 2 picks later.
Yeah.
So I don't look at players who the Lions couldn't have taken. There's no sense in looking at Reuben Bain because he wasn't available.
Facts.
There's no reason looking at Caden Proctor. He wasn't available unless you chose to trade up. So I'm talking about if you stay where you're at, right? If you move up to get where you are, who would you have taken? They took Blake Miller. I wanted Monroe Freeling. That's fine. They took Derek Moore. And they moved up to get him. Personally, I wanted Gabe Akis, but he was taken 11 picks later. So I probably would have been wrong there. They chose Jimmy Rolder. I wanted Dennis Sutton, who went 7 picks later.
The edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The edge off Penn State.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
He's stiff. That's the only thing about him.
He's big. He's strong.
Stiff.
And you're right. He is. Yeah. His hips aren't. He doesn't move
he
great.
He can play though. 8.5 last year. 8.5 the year before that.
And I think what happens at Penn State, unfortunately, everybody gets compared, to Micah Parsons. And he's wearing 33. Micah wore 11. And guys are coming off the edge. You start to get a reputation. He was not Micah Parsons. He was never going to be Micah Parsons. But I liked him a lot. It's not that I'm angry with the Jimmy Rolder. I'm just saying the guys that while the draft was going, this is the guy I was targeting.
He's a player.
Yeah. Keith Abney, love that pick. Okay, it's probably my favorite pick, without question. Kendrick Law. So Kendrick Law was taken 168. I wanted... you can get in a little trouble with this.
Safety?
Nope. Believe it or not, I wanted a quarterback. I wanted Cole Payton from North Dakota State.
Okay.
And he went 10 picks later. And, I had to ask myself at the time, is he going to make this team? Are you going to keep 3 quarterbacks for this team? You're not. You're not. This team is too deep. You're not keeping 3 quarterbacks. If you use a 5th-round pick on him, then you better make sure, A, he beats out Teddy Bridgewater, and B, I know, it's funny. But also, B, if Jared Goff goes down, are you trusting this kid with your offense?
Yeah.
So he's a developmental guy. And I'm just trying to figure out a timeline and when they're actually going to take a quarterback at some point. And he was one of my favorite quarterbacks, and I didn't like many quarterbacks in this draft. In fairness to the Lions, they went out and they signed as an undrafted free agent Luke Altmaier from Illinois, who can spin it. So I'm fine with that.
Fair.
Okay? So, again, they're thinking ahead like that. I wasn't. I was thinking in the moment, that's the guy I wanted. I was hoping for Cole Payton at the 5th round. Other than that, I'm not going to try and lie about Skylar Gill-Howard. I don't know much about him, and I don't know much about Tyree West until after the fact. But as far as every one of those first draft picks, besides Keith Abney, there were guys that I wanted instead of, and they went after the Lions chose. There you go.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. It's when you do as much homework as we do for this topic, for this show, for this job, for the draft, there are gonna be a lot of guys that you like, a lot of guys that you see, and you're like, "Ooh, this is a guy I like. This is a guy I'm starting to come around on. This is the guy." It happens. For me, the way I look at this draft, they got the tackle.
Yeah,
they got a tackle, and he was one of the three. Like, it wasn't like he's a tackle in the first round. He's one of the three. So I look at it that way. I look at Derek Moore. Derek Moore, for where they were, the few moves that they moved up, it was about to get closed. Their window was closing in terms of player that they wanted, and they still got a guy that I believe in, a guy at that position. Once again, that edge position that we have been clamoring for now for the better part of 5 years. I look at Jimmy Roeder. It's another one. I had to go back and watch some film outside a little bit that I knew. I wanted a linebacker. Now that I've seen the instinctiveness, it's an intentional draft. And the same with Abney, the same with Law, Gil Howard, and West. I like the intention that was played in this draft. And I like what Brad Holmes said. He said, man, look, I had that 9-8 record in my office, and I still do, along with some other things and what we missed out on. And he basically was saying, we can't play any games with this draft. These are the guys that we've picked. These are the guys that we like. These are the guys that were on our board at some point, and they either fell to us or we had to move up just a little bit to go get. So outside of maybe, because once you get to the 6th and 7th round,
it's a crapshoot.
So Keith Abney is.
It's a hell of a draft. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a draft pick. I hope the other guys work out. Let's face it. When they were eliminated from contention, you said this, Brad Holmes, you looked in the camera and you said, you got to start doing things differently.
Yeah.
They did things differently. He didn't go to the general manager's meetings, right? He stayed bunkered down and went after the draft. They went about this seemingly in a different philosophy. They married need and BPA at once. And I hope it pays off for them, because I hope that's the way they continue to do things. But I respect the homework that they did and the conviction that they showed.
I will say this, it's so easy to, I do it as well. It's so easy to look at Brad Holmes, look at the front office and say, man, this is what you should have done this year. This is what you should have done that year. This is what you should have done next year. Each year is a new year. Each year is a new year and you're in a new position. When Brad first started, you look at 2020 and what it was. You look at 21. You look at 22. You look at 23. You look at the moves. You look at last year. Last year, he was in a better position. Thought I could do this. And you learn. You know what? We missed. We missed here. This is another new season. And that's Brad talked about it. And that's why I give him some credit today. It's because he came and basically said, this one was serious in so many words. This one was more important than the other ones in so many words. We had to be intentional in this draft. We looked at it differently, and he didn't play around with this one. He focused on it. He stayed home from the draft. He said, what do we need? We need a tackle. We need an edge. We need a linebacker. We need some defensive depth, and we need some DBs. This is what we need. All right, cool. Where's our position? Let's get these guys. Who's the best guy at 44? Who's the best guy at 17? Who's the best guy? So when I look at it that way, this is a new type of draft for them. And I feel like just based off the energy and the intention and the players that were chosen, the type of players, I think they nailed it.
Yeah, I know he's really happy.
Yeah.
You sure hope that the players he got, that the scouts who scouted these guys and that he's entrusted, with all the analytics that they do and they put together, and we shouldn't take that lightly at all. I know you don't, because you recognize what it takes to get into that, but there's too many of us who just feel like they're just throwing darts at a dartboard. We're just taking guys off a description of what we read. These guys watch hours and hours and weeks and months of film on all these guys. They're done with these guys. A lot of them are right back to the drawing board looking at guys who were playing a year ago to try and get a feel for where they may be next year.
Is it fair to say this, though, Shep? And this is in no way, shape, fashion, form, shade. This is more so just a question. Because of how we've drafted last year, because of how we moved last year, this draft would have been an amazing draft by everybody's standard last year. If you look at the focus, if you look at the intent, if this was what the picks was, you see what I'm saying? But because last year was a bit of, maybe it's Talik Williams, maybe it's not. Maybe it's Tate Ratledge, which is going to be a great pick. Now this draft, you're waiting for the splash because you didn't make the playoffs. Because the record, we finished 4th in the division. So I think when looking at this, some people can say, is this going to get us to first in the division this year? Is this going to put us back in the Super Bowl contention? And when you look at the names, it's like, I don't know if Miller and Moore and at the end of the day, it's not about that. What it's about is they faced the fact that they needed these positions. They went and got these positions, and this is what it is.
If these guys play to the way they played at the collegiate level, and I know that's not always easy, this team got exponentially better. Most places that you look at, and I looked at 26 different websites over the weekend of grading of teams, Detroit by far and away had the highest grade of any team in the division, for what that's worth. Chicago was second, then Green Bay. Minnesota was third to last.
Chicago actually had a good draft.
Chicago had a pretty good draft,
I think theirs was a little better.
But think about it for a minute. You got your right tackle. You got a right guard who was better than people thought a year ago based on numbers and should be better. You got an established center. You got a question mark at left guard. And you got a left tackle who's the best in what he does in his profession. Everybody else is taken care of. You wanted a pass rusher. You got a pass rusher. All right? You wanted a linebacker. You got a linebacker. You wanted a cornerback. You got a cornerback. That's 3 different levels of that defense that needed improvement. If you're going to tell us that you've got to learn from your mistakes, and we've all made them at different parts in our lives and in our careers as well. I could speak to that. Brad Holmes, he's not going to get burned by this again.
Nah.
He's going to say, look, this is where my proverbial bread is buttered.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing this kind of stuff. If my guy is up there and I've got to address it, and it may not be super sexy, okay, Blake Miller walking into a press conference looks a hell of a lot different than Cam Ward, right? But this is the need, the sloppiness up front, the big fella up front. That's what you need to be successful.
I think also, too, the last 2-3 weeks of the draft, I think Brad was letting us know a little bit at a time, a little hint here, a little hint here, what was going on. He said, hey, look, we did the best we could. Hey, this is what's going on. Hey, basically, I'm handicapped to a certain extent. This is what's going on. They don't want me to necessarily move up. They don't want me to do anything crazy. They don't want me to take chances because we've been taking chances and it hasn't hit. So we got to make sure that we're getting the right players. We got to make sure at the right spots at the right times. Defense was key. They attacked defense, and you saw when you look at the stats last year, the Lions averaged 28.3 points a game on offense. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's 4th in the league. And that last year, the year before that, we were 1. The year before that, we were 1. The year before that, we were 2. So you're talking about 2-1-1-4, really good. But when you flip and points allowed, you're 22nd in the league. When you look at yards allowed, you're 18th in the league. And when you look at passing defense, you're 26th in the league. You got to make sure you fix these things.
And red zone defense.
Blake Miller, player. We know about him. We know where he went. We know the 4 years. We know all the stats. Derek Moore, we know all 3 of his defensive coordinators. We know what he's been on defense. We know what the Michigan players that have been drafted in the last 4 years are doing in the NFL. Most of the guys getting drafted out of Michigan are playing at a high level because of the coaching, because of who coached them. So that's Roeder as well. Damn sure got a player in Abney. That's my favorite pick, too. Yeah. That is my favorite pick as well.
You should be really excited about Moore and Abney.
1,000%.
I think both of them are going to be impact players right away.
And then you look at the last 3. Once again, they're 5th, 6th, 7th. You hope they make the team. But they're SEC guys, and what they're known for, speed, explosion, and dynamic. And that's what all 3 of those guys are. They're all fast as hell. They're all explosive as hell. And they're going to add their level of competition.
You know my philosophy. First 3 rounds, you should have starters. Starter,
potential starter.
Roeder a potential starter, Abney a starter.
I agree.
You get 3 starters out of your first 4 picks. You get 4 contributors right away. You've done your job.
Yeah.
So a job well done.
Yeah.
Let's get to Braylon's Ballers and Bums. We do this every Monday. The last week, who was the best that I had to offer and who was the worst. So let's get that up there and get you rolling in on before you break down Derek Moore, which I'm really excited about in Braylon's breakdown. What do we got for your baller? Who do you have front and center here?
Front and center for me, the baller is going to be, I just want to make sure I get his first name right. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Because I have my other ones. Where's the library? Here it is. Where's that? There that is. Sebastian. Okay, that's what I thought. Sebastian Sau.
Oh, nice. You went off the beaten path.
Yes, I did. Sebastian Sau set the world record. He went under 2 hours in a marathon.
What?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. 1,000%.
Wait a minute, he went 26 miles in under 2 hours?
1 hour, 59 minutes, and 39 seconds. Shep, when I tell you, is one of the most amazing things that I stumbled upon. You see how I worded that, stumbled upon? He ran every single mile in less than 4:41.
That is absolutely insane.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, right now, I can't go out there and run you a 4:41 mile if you gave me a month to train, 2 months to train. Just can't do it. It's not my wheelhouse, not what I'll be able to do. Not only did he run 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, 26.2. That's how long a mile is. It's dates back.
He's not even sweating.
It's insane.
Chilling.
He's not.
I'm
chilling.
sweating just thinking about that.
He ran 26 4 minutes, 39 seconds if you want to be honest.
That is unreal. I've never
4
heard of
minutes
that.
and 39 seconds. He did that 26 times and cruised under 2 months.
You win.
Under 2 hours.
That's unbelievable.
That's insane.
Why did I not hear of this? I pride myself in hearing a lot of stuff.
Because it was a London marathon. I don't think it was here. I think it was a London, so maybe under the radar.
I don't care if it's a Birmingham, Michigan.
If it was Birmingham, I'm damn sure we saw it.
Yeah.
Go, let's go, Sebastian.
Well, don't get hit by that Bentley.
Under 2 hours,
That's
he ran a marathon. That's
that
insane.
is amazing. Well done. Good research there. That's braggadocious stuff right there. My hero is Spencer Torkelson. Struggled mightily at the start.
Is he back?
I don't know.
I don't do all that.
I don't know.
We got to stop getting so in our feelings here in Detroit, and I am a product of that because we'll talk about that when we talk about the next team in Detroit, getting in your feelings and thinking things will be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all want him to be back, all that stuff, but we don't know that he is. I wasn't sure that he ever left. That's the difference, okay? Because through April 21st, he was batting a .186 and he was slugging .229. After Sunday,
that's Abney's weight.
Right, it is. It is. After Sunday, .236, slugging .472. All right? So entering the week, he didn't have any homers and he had 6 RBIs. Now entering this week, he's got 5 bombs and 12 RBIs. Not necessarily all the way back. Don't know. Every player outside of seemingly Kevin McGonigal, is going to go through a slump. All right? Spencer Torkelson went through a slump. I get it. It took a long time I think it was 25 games before he hit his first bomb. That's the second longest in his career. Another time it went 40. So it's troubling, but that doesn't mean you automatically knee-jerk and say, sorry, he's broken, and there's no way he should be a Major League Baseball player. It's hard, especially in baseball, to be patient. He's my Braylon's baller for the week. Who's your bum for the week?
I hate using the word bum, and the reason why is because eventually you're going to have to use that word for someone that you actually like, someone that plays for one of your ball clubs. Before we put them up there, though, sweet potato, look, I had a situation when I was in the league where I was dating this girl. She was, a model, whole 9 yards. Yeah, for sure. Just a long time ago, Brittany, relax. You know what I'm saying? So I was dating this girl in the league.
He's dating a model now too, so it doesn't matter really.
Appreciate that. She was bad. She was the whole 9 yards. She was all the things. Well, she broke up with me, and then she started dating another guy in the league that I knew that played DB. I had to play against this guy when they were together. But as
DB is for defensive back, not for douchebag. Okay.
Yeah, he was that too. No, I'm just he's a real good guy. Yeah. Realistically, though, I could have took it one of two ways. I could have said, dang, man, he got my girl. That's crazy, man. I got to go out here and play against this dude. And then act with that same energy. You know what that energy gets you? Get your ass worked.
Yeah.
Like that energy gets you jammed at the line of scrimmage. It gets you dropping passes. It gets you not paying attention. I'm mentally disconnected from whatever. I was with the Browns at the time. Whatever the Browns are talking about, whatever the scheme is, it kept me disconnected. You know what I decided to do? I was like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I broke up with you anyway, but all right, bet. This is what we got. I destroyed this dude. Picked him up, slammed him, blocked him on every play. You know, in the NFL, it's kind of like a code. It's like, hey, look, man, that's a run play. Just come over here with me. You know, we good. Nah, put him on the ground, got by him, scored 2 touchdowns because that's how I chose to handle the situation. Jalen Durham, wake the F up. Wake up. Wake up. We believe in you here in Detroit. We know who you are. Don't let this situation with the girl you used to date and the person she's dating now, don't allow that to continue infecting your mental and infecting your squad. We know who Jalen Duren was. We saw what you were capable of when there was no Cade Cunningham. We saw what you were capable of when Beef Stew was out. We saw what you were capable of to make yourself an all-star this season. Don't forget that. Don't get so caught up in the next relationship and a little thing here. Now you're letting this affect your game, and you let Wendell Carter make you his you-know-what. Come on, big dog. Man, we believe in you in the city. So you're my bum only for this past weekend, but tonight you have an opportunity to change that tune. And if you do, I'll come in here tomorrow morning and I'll make you a baller. I'll make sure we give you your whole situation right here, and we'll talk about you. But you can't let that off the field or off the court stuff affect what we're doing. We're trying to win a playoff game, not trying to figure out who's dating who in the offseason.
Yeah, it's justified, man. There's for sure the bum is. Anson and I
8,
had
11, and 8 is what he scored in the 3 games.
Yeah, and it's just, period. It's not good enough. Yeah. Right.
And Wendell went off in the last one.
Looked like a darn Wendell's outplayed him. Period. Okay, yeah. I don't know how you can deny that. Yeah. I don't think, at least I hope it doesn't have anything to do with his girlfriend, because they broke up almost a year ago. And Duren played really well against Orlando during the season.
She's still teasing, though.
So she's teasing.
Yeah.
Okay, in the way that, you probably
She just lost that Victoria's Secret photo, too. I saw that when I was at the mall. So
well, then he can start dating a Victoria's Secret model after he pumps in 30 tonight and grabs 10 boards.
You know what?
My bum is Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback. So he was not drafted. There were 257 players drafted. Pavia
Mr. Heisman?
Yeah, Mr. Heisman runner-up.
Mr.
Right.
Heisman?
Yeah. In fact, there were a lot of other players who were then brought in as undrafted free agents. He wasn't one until Sunday night when Baltimore said, we'll take a chance. Take a chance on you. He does. So he became the first Heisman Trophy finalist not to be chosen in the draft since Northern Illinois quarterback Jordan Lynch in 2014. Jordan Lynch was pretty damn good, by the way. He was, in college. So remember, he finished second, and when he was in New York, remember what he said, F Indiana. He also had a photograph and an Instagram that said F all the voters, but family for life. He later apologized on social media, says, I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters and the selection process. Yeah. I apologize for being disrespectful. No, you don't apologize. It's what you put out first. Don't be so damn emotional. I think the guy's an ultimate bum. Yeah. All right. Now, he put up really impressive numbers. Really, I got to give him credit. I do. In the SEC, tough conference, beating teams like Alabama.
And he played for Vanderbilt, too.
Playing for Vanderbilt, playing as well as he did. There are times where he also crapped the bed, I might add, but we don't look at that. Overall, his career, he was a winner. But he's a bum overall when it comes to how he's handled certain adverse situations. He wants the spotlight on himself. He didn't have a spotlight. Remember what he said about an agent. I don't want an agent taking all my money. Maybe you should have thought about that, because the agent may have gotten you to a better situation.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, man, and he had, like you said, he's played well in some games. He's had some moments, and kudos to him. He actually made it to the Heisman finalists. Like, that's an accomplishment in itself. But he had enough moments to where GMs know, coaches know, like players know. You're looking, you're like, I don't want this guy. I don't see it. Like, I don't think, I don't know if he's going to be.
They've been burned too many times with guys like Johnny Manziel, who I know is a friend of yours, and learned from certain situations. They're not going through that with a guy who's 5'9" and a quarter.
If you're going to have that type of energy, like, you better be Baker Mayfield. Like, Baker Mayfield had a lot of that at Oklahoma, and like he went out there and backed it up. He's still backing it up. So like, if you're going to have that type of moxie, if you're going to have that type of, F you to the establishment, then you better be bringing it. Like, you can't have a couple of games a year where you have no shows. You just can't do it.
Amen to that. All right, when we come back, we're going to break down Derek Moore. I'm not going to. He's going to break down Derek Moore. What makes him worthy of a second-round draft pick. And we're all going to be smarter after it. That's well said, Kool-Aid. A little bit later
that's our job.
A little bit later on, we've got Movie Line Monday, and we've got Pistons discussion as well. It's all coming up in the second hour of the Braylon Edwards Show. After this, from Estate's Title and Pure Psychiatry.
I'm sorry, hold on. They said that you're Mufasa telling Simba, remember who you are. During your Jalen Duren rant.
Simba.
James Earl Jones.
You deliberately disobeyed me. And what's worse, you got knowledge involved. Yeah, man. Lion King was a movie.
That's
Mitten made. Shout out.
April 95 it came out. April 95 and 94. Anyway, whether you're buying a home or refinancing, the team at Stateside Agency is making closing process simple and convenient. I'm still stuck in my simple mode right now. We make things simple and convenient, and that's what you want. And you want a team that understands and knows how to do that, and the State Title Agency knows that because they have 20 years plus of expertise, and that expertise falls in the foam up, the B side. Him and his team, they do it. Check this out. Combine the B's expertise, they can guide any title or escrow transaction to that smooth landing that you need. Now here's the kicker. The best part is they have weekend closings. They have late night closings. They will even pull up on you where you are to get the deal closed. Now you talking about service with a smile. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what the State Title Agency will do for you. They know you're busy, so they want to fit into your schedule so that you can make things simple and convenient. For all your title needs, call Mr. Deeds.
Bray was just talking about Jalen Duren and the challenges he's had. No doubt, it's not as much physically as it is mental right now for him. You know who he could use? He could use Pure Psych MI. Go there and book a consultation with some really good people to get your mind right for the rest of what you're trying to endure. We all go through struggles in life. That's okay. They understand it. Pure Psychiatry understands it better than anybody else. That's why they tailor a specific program just for you. They've got 16 locations in the state of Michigan, 2 in the state of Ohio. They're easy to find, and they're comfortable to talk to. PurePsychMI.com. Find them today.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Pistons got to bring home a dub from Orlando tonight. Let's go. Get that Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports, because y'all can place any bet up to $1,000. And if you lose, you get it back. All you got to do, download that Caesars Sportsbook app today. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code on your screen. And most people think energy comes in a 16-ounce can full of sugar and neon colored liquid, but we all know better. Thrive energy pouches. This ain't your daddy's dip. It's tobacco free, nicotine free, no jitters, no sugar crash, zero bloating. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit dipstop.com. Use promo code WSN for 50% off your entire order. Thrive Clean Energy. They just flip and work.
That means you want to cool down. You want to cool down with some really good beer, too. Sam Adams Cherry Wheat had some over the weekend. Find them at Art and Jake's right now. $5 shorts on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It's light. It's refreshing. It's made with real Michigan cherries. Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. Smooth as it gets, but please drink responsibly. Okay, here we go, man. Here we go. It's Braylon's Breakdown, baby. He broke down Blake Miller on Friday because Miller was Detroit's first-round pick. Now he's breaking down Derek Moore. We're going to do this all week long. Derek Moore, the second-round pick out of Michigan.
How the levels right now? I tried to
Very good.
Oh, sounds good?
Coming in clear, yep.
All right, bet. So that way I don't have to, hey, one thing about
That's
this
right.
player.
No, you're in good shape.
All right, cool. Here we go. First thing first, before I start the breakdown, I can get up here and break down any player and make them seem good. Like, I know a lot of you guys back home, like, yeah, you get up there and you say these things. Like, what? Anybody can look good when I break them down. But I break it down honestly. So let's get it going. Here we go. That's Blake Miller's highlight tape. Yep. Let's get to Derek Moore, which would be his second pick. That's all good. Fast forward through this. Oh, what was that?
That was a hell of a catch.
I know, right? I was like, he held on to that?
Yeah.
I was like, where'd that guy get drafted?
I love that. Yeah, I know.
I was like, where'd that guy get drafted? All right, here we go. Big Derek Moore. One thing you'll see about him is his size. He's NFL size. You see him. Shep talked about him. He's a big guy, 250 to 260. He'll lose some of that. The guy is swole. The guy is physical. He mixes speed and power. He's stronger, so the power side is where he mostly makes his bread and butter, but he has speed and has good hands as well. All right, and he'll play against some good teams. We'll see Monroe Freeling. We'll see Caden Proctor. This is the Oklahoma game from last year where he was pretty much one of the only players that showed up outside of Barham. All right, run the play. Big guy in front, off the ball, standing up, excited. Let's see what we do. Boom, boom. Gets the hands, gets inside, and that's the physicality, and that's the power rush. Running back, watch the hands. We talk about this wide receiver hands. Boom, get in, get out, swim move, dip and rip. Hands are really good at the top. You won't be able to do it as much, so I got you, sweet potato. Watch the hands on the big guy. Because of the power, because of the speed, he's allowed to sometimes switch it up. That right there, that was a speed move, but he uses the power to get through and gets his hand up. That's one thing we want. Last year, we did not get our hands up enough on the defensive line. Getting your hands up is a smart, instinctive play. You don't have to get to the quarterback. You don't have to make the sack. Sometimes you get your hand up, you get off the field. You get your hand up, it gets tipped. 9 tips get in the backfield. Now Abney has his first career interception. All right.
I'm glad you showed that play because even though it's not a sack, I hear a lot of people saying, well, he didn't play well against Oklahoma. Well, just because he doesn't get a sack doesn't mean he doesn't play well.
100%.
When you're forcing the quarterback to get rid of it earlier than he wants to, maybe that's an incomplete pass. That's a job well done.
Also, too, you know what tips lead to, Shep? Tips lead to interceptions. Tip leads to picks. Tips lead to, oh, wait, did the quarterback get rid of that or is that a fumble? Here we go. Now, this is Caden Proctor and Monroe Freely. These are the guys that we wanted right here, right? We got Blake Miller, so we're very happy about that. But these are the guys that were mentioned. Here he is right here standing up, big Caden Proctor. Let's see what we got on Jalen Milroe. Now, this is that power I talked about. Look at that. That's 3 guys. That's 3 guys. Ended up being 2 that he got away from, but it was 3 guys off. Caden Proctor is a big guy, big physical guy, 6'7". We talked about all that. He was able to move him back. He was able to push through 2 guys to still get to Jalen Milroe, who is a mobile quarterback, mind you, who's a mobile quarterback. But because of the speed mixed in with the power, he was able to get there.
The other guy coming in is another Lions draft pick, by the way. This is Jimmy Rolder right behind him. So
this is a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
good job,
right.
Shep.
Yep.
2-for-1. Let's see what we got. Run it, power. Look at the speed, power, power, power. Jimmy Rolder gets the leg, and then your boy Derek Moore is able to finish the job. But that's the power we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the 12th pick overall right there. That was the 12th pick overall in Caden Proctor that he ran through when he had help, and that was Jimmy Rolder behind him. That's the power side of what we're talking about.
Who outweighs him by almost 100 pounds.
1,000% almost, but look at that. Gets through.
That's 2. Actually, he fought through 2 offensive linemen.
Yes, he did. Thought the 2 guys, Jimmy Rolder, come in and make the play. So that's that power we're talking about, power and speed. When you have that power, a lot of times offensive linemen, they think you're going to bull rush them because that's what power guys do. You're looking for the bull rush. And when you come with the speed, a lot of times you catch them off guard. Next play for me, or you can let it play. You can run it back. Yeah, you can let it ride. All right, boom. We see it. Jimmy Rolder does a good job of getting small in there. Makes the play. Here we go. What's the next one? Little flip option, if you will. This is just a highlight showing the speed down the field, showing you that he follows plays, showing you that he will track the play. He will not stop until the whistle stops. That's another one of the good things that we pointed out about Blake Miller. Notice, guys, finishing. That was a good finish by him. Showed a little bit of that speed for a big fella, Shep.
Love that, man.
Big guy, look at it. He even took a hitch step, like, where you going? I'm going to come get you. Where you going? What you doing? Got excited. My cord fell off. All right, next play. All right, here we go. See him on the outside. You see him up there. He's coming on the outside. This is a speed rush, I believe. Let's see what we do. Oh, that's just bad by the left tackle. That's not Derek Moore's fault that the guy didn't play the right play. Gets in there, he makes a sack, nothing crazy, just showing you he can do multiple things, put his hand in the ground. Also, he can come from up top. Yep. He didn't have to do much on this one. He's a strong guy. Tackle puts a hand on him. He's like, get out of here. You're too weak. You're too slow. You're too late. Sack going down. Nothing crazy about that play. Now, this is him in coverage. Why do I want to show him in coverage? Well, this is the NFL, and all teams pass. Nowadays, you want to make sure you have a stand-up outside linebacker that can get in coverage, that can get in the zone windows, and stop plays, check plays out.
And this is in the national championship game against Washington.
100%. Recognize this guy, Atlanta quarterback. All right, hit play. Goes to the flat, buzzes out there, plays it, does a good job of getting parallel, does a good job of getting to his spots. Rewind it. The reason why that's important is it's discipline. It shows you that he's disciplined. It shows you that he took Jesse Mentor's. I think Jesse Mentor was a coordinator when they won the championship. It wasn't McDonald. But in this spot right here, Shep, he can legitimately run. He can run to the receiver. He can run to the tight end if he doesn't have any technique. And if he runs to that tight end can just take a step inside. Now he's wide open in this window, and let's see what this could have turned in. If he runs to the wide receiver and not the spot, Watch how this looks differently. Hit play. He's running to the spot, and he gets set up. Now he can play the ball. Now he can play receiver. If he ran to the receiver just slides in here, and now you turn around, and now there's a room to go. There's a two-way.
Almost like a China route, out and then back in.
100%, Shep. It's a China route. 25, it's kind of chilling. If he doesn't run that spot, he can get he can get the first down. Get the catch, get the first down. It's about not letting them get the first down. So that was a good job of showing you he's disciplined in the throwing lanes. He's getting to his assignment. Getting to the assignment is a very key thing. Last year, the Detroit Lions were out of their position and didn't necessarily play in their assignments the right way. That's what Kelvin Shepard was so hot on the sidelines for 17 games. All right, next play. And that was in the national championship game. Once again, they won the national championship. This is that team in East Lansing. Bad technique by the offensive line. They've had bad offensive line play for a very long time now. Nothing special here. He just gets around it, gets a good jump off the line of scrimmage. Let's run it back. Let me make sure. I think he just got a good jump on the line of scrimmage on this play. I was at this game, man. This game was so exhilarating. I mean, we already knew it was over, but just to finally see it, man, come to fruition. My dad was there. My brothers were there. It was a great moment. And then he's physical and nasty, too. He's not letting go.
Well, he wraps up.
He wraps up.
Yeah.
That's another thing. A lot of times because guys are scared of the penalties and the calls, they're like touching it. You see quarterbacks starting to break out of that.
Sure.
Patrick Mahomes does it all the time. Not getting out of that. You put these paws on you. Come on, big fella. Let's go ahead and go down. This must have been after Aiden Childs got benched. Let's take you to the ground. Physical. Do a little celebration, a little belt to you know what. All right, now, everybody knows this play. Here's your boy again, Caden Proctor. This is for all the chips. This is for all the marbles. This play could have gone a little bit differently, and this is 2 years ago, Derek Moore. This is 2 years ago, and this is what you get out of him. He's going to meet the tight end. He'll meet the tight end. Caden Proctor will disappear, and watch what happens with Jalen Milroe. Here we go. Run the play. Bang. Stays. This is once again, run it back if you can. It's about being disciplined in your assignment. Being disciplined in your assignment. Some people just want to go to where the ball is. Go to where the quarterback is. I'm going to go there because that's where the quarterback is. I'm going to go make the play there. I can be the hero. It's not about being the hero, ladies and gentlemen. It's about doing your job. His job was to make sure that Jalen Milroe cannot get outside. It's called contain. He contained the situation. Jalen Milroe had nowhere to go, and when he had nowhere to go, then they were able to fold on him like a piranha, or a piranha is a pack of piranhas. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Hit play. Watch. He stayed outside and came inside. That's a hell of a job right there.
Can I just add one thing?
And then we know what the rest is. Please.
That tight end is 6'5", 255 pounds.
100%. He couldn't do anything with it.
So he's a big dude,
Yep.
all right? And a guy who's known as a blocker. That's the reason they've got him in the H formation.
Hit play, go ahead.
You want to see that one?
Yeah, you can just let it ride. Just let this one ride through. I tell you what.
It's a really good play.
I tell you what, go back. Let's just watch Caden Proctor on this play. If Caden Proctor does his job, this could have looked a different way for Alabama. Caden Proctor seals this way, like the game's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Put your hands on somebody. You are 6'6.5", 350 pounds at this point. He's a little bigger probably here. Put your hands on somebody and force them this way. You're looking for somebody to block 4th and 2 with the natty on the line. Maybe we did get Blake over him. I don't know. Hit play. It's 2 years, but you blew him up.
Let's put it this way: you can't do what you just did there.
F no.
Okay.
No, you can't.
That's not the way to go. All right. Well, speaking of that, no, great stuff. Thank you for that. I mean, that is really good stuff. You showed him in coverage. You showed him pass rushing. You showed him being able to take on double teams. You showed him in a lot of different situations. Should give Lions fans a lot of hope.
100%. He's one of those individuals. Look, everybody coming in on the Detroit Lions, everybody coming into every team at every pick, including number 1 pick overall, all the way to 177 or 277, whatever it is, they have room to work. They have some things they can work on. He's no different. For him, you want to make sure that the intensity in the run is the same as it is in the pass. Because when he's in the pass game, you see the physicalness, you see the speed, you see the excitement.
He's a punisher.
I'm about to get myself a sack.
Yeah,
the run game sometimes, it's like, all right, I'll do my job. Want to make sure that those intensity levels match.
I like him.
Outside of that, he's a hell of a player.
It's great stuff. Hey, shout out to the entire chat group, okay? Thank you.
Shout out.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you smashing the like button. Billy Bob Whiskey, shout out from Hong Kong. How about that, right?
What's tomorrow looking like?
Says
That's my favorite movie, man. Bloodsport.
He says, I'm a Lions fan. My wife's an Eagles fan. Love your show. So thank you very much. We appreciate that more than anything. That means a lot to us. All right? Yeah. They sure did. Yeah, it's pretty consistent. All right?
NFC East had, like, top to bottom, NFC East might have had the best.
Somebody gave a really good, I assume God hates cowards, that when he says Shep, he's talking about Kelvin Shepard here. Shep better have learned something last year. That's the assumption.
Yeah.
Of course, both of us could have learned something last year. We can always learn.
No, they're talking about Kelvin Shepard in the chat.
Yeah. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's his first go round, first time at it, and he didn't necessarily have the best play. It's tough to fully assess what Kelvin Shepard would have been last year. You had 2 of your safeties who are 2 of the better safeties in the NFL. Both go down. You had bad defensive play last year by your DBs. Defensive line, Ali McNeil came back off an injury. I'm not making excuses. I agree with you 100%. It needs to be better out of Kelvin Shepard, but now he has more depth. He has more pieces. He'll get some guys back. And maybe there wasn't a safety drafted because maybe the Lions believe in the timeline for Kirby Joseph as well as Brian Branch.
Let's hope that's the case. Either way, we learn an awful lot in Braylon's breakdown, so thank you for that. Let's shift gears. Let's get to the Pistons because it's a massive game tonight. The easy thing to do is look at Jalen Duren because he hasn't been good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I do believe, and Scott Foster, by the way, is one of the referees tonight. I don't know if people realize the Magic are 0-3 this year when Scott Foster is the head official.
See Kool-Aid over there.
what is?
I might have hit the B-dubs button.
I get it. Look at the face on the right. That's fantastic.
Snap!
Is everyone's blaming Duren? Is it fair to blame Duren, or do we? There are certain other things. I got to be careful here because you know how I feel about Cade Cunningham.
Talk to me.
He had 9 turnovers in the last game. And I didn't really hear anybody bring that up that much. He had 9 assists and 9 turnovers. His plus-minus was worse than Jalen Duren's. Asar Thompson's plus-minus was worse than Jalen Duren's, and he scored 17 points. I think what's happening is we're finding the convenient person to blame, and he hasn't been good enough. Okay? You go from 19.5 points during the regular season to 9 points per game in the postseason. You are not doing your job. But I think we need to do a deep probe and make sure we are opening that umbrella a little bit for everybody who's to blame here.
So I'm going to raise my hand, actually turn my hat backwards on this one, man. You know what I'm saying? Get the hat
it's
turned.
Like you're going out on a mission.
I am going on a mission. I'm going to start by blaming myself. And what I'm going to blame myself for is I legitimately had the same conversation about the Detroit Pistons, what they needed, where they would go, what I believed in them, at what level from October to January. And then in January, then as we got closer to the finals, as we got closer to All-Star game, as we got closer to the suspensions and then how well they played through that, as I got closer to listening to some of the slappies at this network that I love so much, but listening to them, I got bought into the hype of what the Pistons were. I bought into the wins. I bought into Cade's collapsed lung, and here's Jalen Duren doing the things. They are still the same team that we talked about, still needing that number 2 piece that can score when Cade's not in the game, score when Jalen Duren's not on fire, score, get you to 25, get you to 24, keep the energy up. They don't have that guy. And Jalen Duren, as much as I love him, I made him a bum only because of the situation, Wendell Carter and the scores. But if you're realistically looking at it, he's not a guy that is offensively elite enough to be your number 2 in these situations. So really, right, and the reason I say like most individuals his size, they're shooting threes or they're shooting 18 feet out. If anything is 10 and out, it's a question mark on what it can be. That's what they have out of Jalen Duren. So we got to get back to understanding. Going into this season, we talked about what move will we make at the trade deadline? Who will we bring in to add as that second? And now I got to get back to that and stay the course. This team can very much win this series 100%, but just looking further, Cade's like the only guy right now.
Yeah, he's the only guy.
And so all the pressure is on Cade, on his back. He's going on both ends of the court. And when you got to exert that much energy just to keep up on both sides, like it's
I'm with you on that, but he has Franz Wagner has put him in a vice. Woo. Okay, they played. Wagner covered him for 13 and a half minutes the other day, and Cunningham went 5 for 17 with 4 turns.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. Here's the other thing I was getting at, and you know how we feel about JB Bickerstaff. I think he's the perfect coach for this team. I love him. He's the coach of the year. He's done a fantastic job. Full stop. However, he started the fourth quarter the other night with Danis Jenkins, Duncan Robinson, Asar Thompson, Javonte Green, and Isaiah Stewart. Those guys have played together for like 8 minutes all season long, and they were not productive when they were together. I think he's really searching. This is why I said, and everybody ridiculed me, and I get it, what made us so successful, Shep, is the length of our bench. I said, I want 8 to 9 guys playing. We're not playing, shouldn't be playing 11 guys. Okay? They're playing all these. Now they're struggling to find the right combination, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's been a problem. Here, this is from Sleeper Hoops. Stat leaders in this series. Cunningham leading just about everything, as you can see there.
Including plus minus.
Including plus minus, even though the last game, it wasn't great. Okay? Yeah. But it wasn't great for anybody. All right? And then you look at the entire, if you connect the two teams. But look, you've got Orlando with 4 of the top 6. That tells you something, doesn't it? Cade needs some help.
Yeah,
Tobias Harris, it's interesting, isn't it? So many people said Tobias Harris was a playoff bum when they got him a year ago. He's been pretty good this year. Kool-Aid, you've got some questions for Bray.
We do. We have some questions. And you know what? I was going to say let's start with the Jalen Duren one. Let's start with the Cade Cunningham one. Let's predict his stat line parlay for tonight. Because you're right, Franz Wagner has done an effective job against Cade Cunningham in this series, but Cade has still gone out there and put up some pretty impressive numbers. But it's the efficiency where I think it's key when you're talking about these stat lines. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with him being able to put up 29, 8, and 5. But, Bray, do you believe, and Shep, do you believe this will be the stat line that Cade can achieve? 47% field goal, 30% from behind the arc at least.
Before we answer that, can I just apologize real quick? Cade Cunningham was a +2 the other night. I said he was a minus. He was a +2. I am wrong there, so my apologies. He was a +2. I was thinking Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson was the minus. He was a -10 despite 17 points and 8 rebounds. Go ahead, Brett.
Percentage-wise, I agree with you 100%. I think the points will be less, but I think the rebounds and assists will go up. Like, I think he's going to have a monster game as it relates to getting everybody involved, getting everybody involved, rebounding, doing all the little things in between. I think you're looking at more 20. I know it's like nitpicking. I think you're looking at 24, 25, but I think you're looking at double-digit assists for sure. And dare I say, maybe a triple-double type night. So I like the percentages. I think the points will be down a little bit, but I think he's going to have a triple-double type night.
I'm with you on that.
He's the only one that can get Jalen Duren.
I'm 100% with you but the problem, my leeriness on the assist is somebody else has got to make some flipping shots. Yeah. And they're not shooting the ball very well.
That is crazy.
So he could have had more than this going in on a regular basis if guys would actually make shots. Okay, I think he recognizes, first of all, this is desperate times. We all know that. Orlando's going to make adjustments. They're going to have Franz Wagner on him more often than not. Maybe they take the ball out of Cade's hands a little bit more. Okay, that's a possibility. I don't think he'll get 29 points. I think he'll get 25, 26 or whatever. I think he'll have double-digit assists. I think he's a guy. He's still going to have the turnovers, which bothers me. But if they get the ball out of his hands, then I think they'll be able to take care of that. I think he recognizes it better than anybody else. Some of it, and it's not just Cade Cunningham. I'm talking about the team in general. Some of it is just almost like a laissez-faire type belief. It's like 16 turnovers in the last game. They had 20 plus in the previous game, and they won that game. It's got to get fixed as a team first and foremost. Next.
Yeah, they I think they averaged 13 for the season, and now they're like 15.
I would have guessed
19.
I would have guessed it's more than 15. Yeah, I don't know what they are averaging, but I would have guessed it more.
Yeah. Three games, I think they got 19, 15, and 15 in terms of turnovers.
And we know who's been the hot topic in this series, Mr. Jalen Duren. Let's go to that one, Cam. Jalen Duren versus Wendell Carter. The question is, does Jalen Duren have to win the matchup versus Wendell Carter Jr. for the Pistons to beat the Magic? And I asked that question especially because The only game the Pistons won is the one, even if it's marginally, even if it's pedestrian-like, it's the only game in the series in which Jalen Duren outperformed Wendell Carter Jr. Is this a must for the Pistons to win this game tonight?
It is absolutely a must. He has to outplay Wendell Carter Jr., but he's just got to play better. He's got to get back to, and I understand it's different. It's the playoffs that we talked about, but he's got to find something inside himself. The same thing that got him to be an all-star, the same thing that got him to take his game up another level. He's got to find that because it's not just about him. It's about the energy that he emits. And when he emits that energy, it gets everybody else going. Yeah, that's the big fella. The big fella's going. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's play. That's the energy that comes out of when Jalen Duren's playing well. So if this doesn't happen, then the series is over.
Yeah.
This series is over. Point blank period.
How do we look at it? Are we talking about points here? Because he had 9 boards. He had 5 blocks. Okay, and that gets overshadowed by the 3 for 10 from the floor.
He and Osar had that paint on lock from a block standpoint.
The thing that has surprised me most is that he has not looked like himself inside where he is just playing big, like wide-bodied, right? Pounded on the deck. I'm going to force it up. I'm going to shove it in your face. He has not been as aggressive in that type of realm as I thought he would be. I think he's going to play really well tonight. I think he's going to be a massive reason why Detroit is right in there. I don't know if they're going to win the game, to be honest with you, but I think he's recognized some things and he's tired of it. So it's got to happen, but I would like to see him get a few shots to drop early on.
Definitely. You know what? The big man plays in the paint. Cam, let's see who's going to own the paint tonight. We have the stats here, and it's actually a little closer than I believed it would be in this series. And the Pistons are leading the way across the board in some of your key metrics. Rebounds per game, blocks per game, and points in the paint. But the Magic have still somehow come away looking like the more physical team. So it might not be all stats. Kind of like how you said with the matchup between Duren and Wendell Carter Jr. It's not just all stats, but who you think will own the paint tonight from a physicality standpoint?
Well, Orlando won it by 20 in Game 1. Detroit won it by 20 in Game 2, and Detroit barely edged them in Game 3. Paul Reed will play more tonight. I'll give Detroit the edge in the paint.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. The problem is Orlando's hitting big threes, and Detroit stinks from downtown.
Point blank period. Where is Desmond Bain? Is it hamstring or is it the cramps?
Who, Desmond Bain?
The other night. It's just a random question. I'm going to go to Orlando on this, but I think
he
Detroit.
didn't play like it, did he? 25. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think Orlando will win this, though, but I think the Pistons will be better from behind the arc.
Yeah, definitely. And this one, the next one, let's go to those coaches, Cam, because one of the biggest things, I think, narratives coming into the season or into the series was J.B. Bickerstaff in the playoffs. Can he make the right adjustment? I got to ask you guys, what is your winning adjustment? What do you want to see J.B. Bickerstaff do for this team to win?
I'm going to let Shep answer that question, but whatever that is, like, JB is another individual. Like, Shep, you started going there, and JB has to have a conversation with himself because one of the biggest things that, whether it's the lack of talent or not, am I off base? No. One of the biggest reasons he got here is because Cleveland didn't feel like he could finish. Cleveland didn't feel like he could bring it home. Cleveland didn't feel like he could get to the round.
He's got something to prove tonight.
He's got something to prove, too. So I want him to start coaching like it because what Shep said about how you started the fourth quarter with that roster, with that lineup, you're not coaching like an individual that has something to prove. You're coaching more like an individual that now Cleveland making that decision. You're like,
Well, it's,
absolutely.
It's a little bit concerning. The easy thing to say is energy. I'm going to be more specific.
Talk to me, Shep.
Defend the damn 3-point line. Okay? The game you won, Orlando went 8 for 32. In the last game, they go 15 for 33. All right? Yeah. So defend the 3-point line better, and I think you're going to be in better shape. I don't know if people watched Boston yesterday. I got geeky all weekend. I watched the NBA and the NHL playoffs all weekend. So I'm watching Colorado steamroll LA and sweep them. I'm watching Boston just toy around with Philadelphia and hit 24 threes. All right? Peyton Pritchard had 6 of them. Jason Tatum's hit him. Jaylen Brown's hit him. Everybody in a Boston uniform's hitting him. Now, they took 53, which to me is way too many. I wouldn't want to live and die like that. They get by with it.
But
I see Cleveland go 10 for 40 and, suck blueberries up and down the floor the entire time. So
Celtics won that championship, like, doing it the same way. So it's like one of the things where you're like, I got to hold my tongue because it's proven to work for them.
Right.
At least.
Yeah. And it works for San Antonio, and it helps to have a lob guy in Victor Wembanyama, who had 27, 11, and 7 the other day, but De'Aaron Fox had 28. Yeah. So you've got guys right now, you've got teams that seem to be finding that synergy. Detroit, to me, offensively, even in the game they won, they do not look like they are connected.
They don't look in sync.
They don't do they?
No.
And that's not a music group, because I don't follow it. But that's just not a. It just doesn't look.
And you know what? The last question,
so
maybe.
That's right. What were you saying? Because I said the 3-point line. What do you specifically need to see from them tonight?
What adjustments the game to?
I know he was talking about the lineups too.
They just look out of sorts.
Yeah, they do.
And it goes back to when I was talking about, when we were doing the Braylon's breakdown, we were talking about like your assignment. Like, do your assignment. Like, do your assignment.
Stars in your lane.
And 100%. And sometimes that sounds so easy. What do you mean do your assignment? No. You got to do your assignment. Who are you supposed to be checking? Who are you supposed to be switching off on? Like, what's the call? What are they looking for? What is your responsibility in this game? Mm-hmm. Like, and sometimes, sometimes it seems like it's a little responsibility. Man, you do your assignment and your responsibility to the best of your ability, and you tackle that, and we don't have to worry about that. Makes the game easier.
It kind of echoes.
Somebody in the chat said, we're talking about the Pistons like my son bitches about the Spartans. There's nobody who can knock down big threes like you need in today's game. How do you argue with that?
Because you can't.
Yeah. All right. Keep it going.
I mean, that just is what it is.
Just really
Shout out to the chat.
It is what it is.
Sometimes, if we do that, like, we won't have a show. But he's right.
I know.
He's right.
Totally right. Yeah.
And the last one here, we talk about getting Cade some help. Which two Detroit Pistons role players need to step up most in Game 4? It doesn't have to be one of the three only that are on the screen. It could be somebody else on this team. But who do you believe, which two got to be in lockstep tonight for this Pistons team to have a more in sync, and no pun intended, no song, no group, night?
Duncan Robinson and the guy that played his best game in Game 3. I need to see that out of Sar Thompson again. Realistically, I think if Duncan Robinson and Sar Thompson, because Jalen Duren is the it's like the moment. You give me Duncan and a Sar Thompson to double back what he did, maybe less on the turnovers. I think you got a damn good shot.
The scary thing about this is, you've gotten good productivity from Tobias Harris, and you've gotten average productivity from Duncan Robinson for the most part, who's played very similar to what his regular season numbers were, right? So Karis LeVert would be in the discussion. He hasn't played a ton in order to do that, all right? He played what he played. Last game he played 4 minutes. I can't do that. I can't expect that from him because he's not giving it to us, okay? This is what we talked about before the season began. Detroit last year lost 487 triples made. 487. They lost 168 when Tim Hardaway Jr. left. They lost 319 when Malik Beasley didn't pay his rent. Now, this year, you fill it with 220 from him, Duncan Robinson, and 60 from him in the middle. That's a lot to make up, 200 triples. Who's the question mark here? It's got to be obviously Jalen Duren. This is hard to ask. You need as much from Tobias Harris as you can possibly give, 25. You need the question mark of Jalen Duren to rise to the occasion and get you 20 points tonight.
If it wasn't him, because I put him almost in that star category, who are you going with? Because
I really don't know. I can't be too different than Bray when he says Asar Thompson. And it's not that I don't like what he's done, because I don't expect a lot from a scorer. I don't know who it is off the bench, because if I said Danis Jenkins, you would hit me with a dart that would make me go to sleep,
Ron
and rightfully
Holland
so.
totally didn't even play a whole game.
Ron Holland got a DNP, and rightfully so. So what are you looking for? Javonte Green has taken the place of Ron Holland? Are you effing kidding me? A 5th overall pick?
Yeah.
That would be my initial thought if he actually played. I would like him to do what he's supposed to do, and he hasn't done that. And you know what? There's too many guys on this team that aren't carrying the mail.
How about there's too many people on this team that we can say that about, and that's what probably makes this the most disappointing is they just don't look like themselves.
You're right.
Across the board in a couple different things. And somebody showed a certain stat, and you can clearly see that Cade has showed up ready for this year's playoffs. But if I'm looking for at least one person to be as effective as we thought he would be in last year's playoffs, where is Isaiah Stewart? I want to see that effectiveness that he brought during the regular season that we thought he was going to give us against the Knicks in last year's playoffs, because we're talking about us losing effectively, no matter how the stats look, the physicality battle. We just don't look the same. We don't look right. And that's where, if I'm looking for one of these role players, definitely want to be able to see Isaiah Stewart step up in this series as the longest tenured Piston against the Magic tonight. Really want to see that. But if I had to pick another one, obviously Duncan Robinson. If he can have one of those games where he's going out there and he's being an outlet for Cade, sadly he's generally like the only outlet, then you got a good night between what he can do outside mixed in with a little bit of Stu, especially if he got the outside shot going. You don't want him out there forever, but if he can knock down the ones that come his way, I think that gives the Pistons a little bit of a dynamic that we've seen them have, but they just haven't really gone to it in this playoff series.
I got to be honest with you. There's only one player I recognize from watching this team every single night, 82 regular season games.
Tobias? Okay.
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
He's the only guy I recognize doing something
plays
similar to what he did during the regular season. Nobody else. I mean, they look like foreigners to me. They really do. Maybe Tobias Harris at times, because I really like him and I think he's good on the post-up game. But
this is one of the questions that I had, during the season when we're watching. Like, when you watch the regular season, basketball is one of those sports where, unfortunately, it's very different than other sports.
Yeah.
You don't have to care in the regular season. Yeah. So when you play in the East and you play a lot of these games where you're playing against teams who have mailed it in, or teams that are tanking, or teams that don't care, or guys that come to your city and they turn up all night, and the next game, when the game is, they're legitimately trying to recover from the night before. Like, when you play that, you can get a lot of wins. You can squeak by a lot of wins, because a lot of guys on the Pistons team, they're going balls to the wall, because they might not be on a roster with any other team. They may not be in the NBA. They may be in the G League. They may be overseas. So they're giving you all they have, and then you got the perfect motivator in J.B. Bickerstaff to bring those guys together in the regular season. When you get to the playoff, the intensity goes up, the level of competition goes up, the level of time.
Same team
when you're
for
gonna
7 nights.
When you're going to see 3 legit players on every roster. Every roster, once you get to the playoff, they got 3 guys.
Credit to you. You did say that. I chastised you a little bit. I thought the regular season mattered. I need to learn from this, and I'm surprised I'm even doing this for as long as I've done this, that I haven't recognized it nearly enough. I get caught up in regular season accomplishments because I don't want to take anything away from players.
Yeah.
You give me something every single night, I say, bully for you. I want to root for you even harder. This team, or maybe this league, or maybe this conference, fooled me. I thought this team, the way it was playing during the regular season, defense wins championships, rebounding, togetherness, understanding one's role, I thought that meant something. I thought it mattered in the playoffs. I hope it still does, but early indications, at least through 3 games, it has not as meant as much as I thought it would be. I am super late for a break. My apologies. Quick thing from Dr. Pierce and Buddies and Lady Jane's, and then we've got to get out of here because this 2 hours flew faster than any 2 hours I've worked maybe in my entire life. Go ahead.
Dr. Pierce, he is our guy. He is the injury insider here with Woodward Sports. You can catch him on Big D Energy on Tuesdays, or you can catch him on Thursdays right here, the Braylon Show with Shep, 248-426-9944. On the other hand, if you might need him for his medical prowess, his knowledge that is to get you back involved, whether it's elbow, it's a knee, it's a neck, it's a shoulder, whatever it is, we want to get you the right diagnosis and make sure that your body is equipped to handle that rigorous golf season that is coming ahead, or just getting in the gym. To make sure that your body is operating at a high level, or he can even interest you in some of those peptides that he likes to talk about, the secret sauce. Dr. Pierce, he knows it.
Well, get ready to eat great and give back, because, buddies, you're always going to eat great. But on Monday, today, this is the 27th. This is the 50th annual Slice for Life fundraiser. So do me a favor. You can dine in. You can get it to go. It doesn't have to be a huge pizza. It could be just a salad, whatever the case may be. When you're dining in today, or you're doing a carry-out with buddies on any of their locations, 20% of the total sales is going to be donated to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. They've raised, Buddies has over $4 million for that amazing cause since 1976. Take advantage of it today. Specifically, the 50th annual Slice for Life Foundation, 20% of your order goes to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Good for you.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Black Rock Bar and Grill, home of steak on a stone. And also, I tell you about this, man. When you go there, you don't just get an experience. You get a top rock experience. Treat yourself to Tuesdays. That is their Tasty Tuesday special. $13.99. You can feast on half a pound of ribs, coconut shrimp, and add fries to that. Thursday, how about Sizzling Thursdays? How about we get you one of those 6-ounce sirloins? How about you get some shrimp scampi, soup, or salad? And you still get a side with that for $19.99. It's not just about the great experience. It's not about the steak on the stone. It's also about fitting into your price point. And that's what they want to do. Come on down to Black Rock, where there will always be a sizzle above the rest.
Love that coconut shrimp. Love coming into Lady Jane's and seeing the people work so very hard, keeping this place clean and making sure you leave looking clean. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. 28 locations throughout the state of Michigan. It is wicked awesome.
And we back. And you know what? We want to make sure we get to these super chats before we close up the show. Shout out to you guys for smashing that like button as well. If you didn't get an opportunity to, hit that like button before the show ends. We got 3 super chats here. Dante, well, you know what? Michael Wary, $2 super chat. Number 1 in the chat, it says, Kool-Aid, we having a watch party tonight? Definitely having a watch party tonight. Make sure you guys tap in with Heavyweights after Braylon Edwards show. And then we got at 8 o'clock, the watch party starting. So it's going to be lit. Thank you guys
you
for
have a cot here. Or you
who's
just
all going to be here? You going to be here too?
Oh, yeah.
At
yeah,
8?
me, Platty, Jeff, Gordon, Damon. So we got a few people.
Okay, so you're going to be here, not downtown?
Yep, we're going to be here.
Okay, all right, bet.
Yes, sir.
Bet.
And then let me see here. We got Dante151 with the $4.99 super chat. He says, Braylon, can we please get a breakdown on Kendrick Law? Because I want to see and hear what you like and what you don't like. Is that possible?
Don't worry. You know what I got to do you guys a favor. Every single player that the Detroit Lions drafted, we will break down between now and the next 2 weeks. We'll get a chance to get them all. We'll break them all down. Even, we may mix or match. Now, as it relates to the undrafted free agents, if you will, if there's some guys that you really like, some guys that are meeting that needle, and members, one of them guys that got paid, we can do that as well. But to answer your question, yes, because I can't wait to break Kendrick Law down.
Luke Altmaier might be a good one to break down.
100%.
The Illinois quarterback. So, yeah, Braylon's going to do it. He told us over the weekend, even before the draft, we are breaking down every single 1,000%. Lions pick. So just stay tuned. Braylon's breakdown throughout the week. You'll get what you want.
And our last super chat of the day from Michael Wary, another one, $5. He says, Shep, I apologize. You told me last week to lay off Torque, However, I'm still keeping my eyes open. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And it's a tough time, and they go through spurts. Everybody wants to be more consistent. I want to be more consistent in life. He's going to have some ups and downs, man. But you just don't get rid of guys for the sake of getting rid of them. Let's hope that he's turned the corner. So 5 consecutive games with at least 1 homer. Hasn't been done very often, not since Marcus Timms did it. But when you're in the likes of Willie Horton and Rudy York and guys like that, that's saying something.
Yeah, it is.
Is that it for the
That's
Super Chats? All right. Thank you, everybody, for
Chat
being
family
part of
showed
it. If you missed it, I hope the heavyweights are playing Braylon's Breakdown because it's one of the better ones of Derek Moore. Make sure you're following us on all our socials. It's on that as well. It's the best segment this network produces, and we'll have more of it throughout the week. Join us tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody.
See you.
Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And Shep.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.